Welcome to Around the Peninsula. I'm Catus Corporal Min-Kyu Bae. Hard work requires a lot of perseverance and dedication. Army Sergeant Tamara Thompson witnesses the accomplishment that it produces.
Sailors in Chinhae came together to honor two of their own. The ceremony involves their sponsors as well, who have shown them support through all their hard work.
The ones that have gone before me that were selected as chiefs, and those leaders that I saw, those footsteps that they were walking, I wanted to follow them. I wanted to be where they were.
This promotion carries a lot of meaning and responsibility.
Expect him to be the subject matter expert now. There is no, well, let me ask this one guy above me. He is that guy now.
The promotion to Chief Petty Officer is a reminder of those who have come before them and served. It also represents the sacrifice sailors and their families endure.
As someone who's gone through steam and pressure, tried, tested, and true, and I stand here as a Chief Petty Officer in the world's greatest Navy.
Army Sergeant Tamara Thompson, Chinhae, Korea.
The donning of the cover represents an important part of the promotion tradition. They take a beating day in and day out without complaint. Specialist Pedro Amador stumbles across a man that provides a valuable service to keep them going.
You may have seen this boot repair shop as you walk near the Camp Casey main entrance. About 10 years ago, Mr. Key opened his shop, but his journey began years ago.
Originally, I started making shoes when I was 17. And after the army, where I served as an infantryman, I came to Dongducheon to repair shoes for soldiers. I have made and repaired shoes in Daegu and Seoul, where I started off making women's shoes. And then when I went to Itaewon, I started making one of my favorite shoes to make, which are cowboy boots.
With more than 40 years of experience making and repairing shoes and leather goods, he strives to keep his customers happy.
Sometimes people bring in 10-year-old shoes that have been handed down to them for repairing and they are in horrible condition. But when they come pick them up and I see the smile in their face, I can tell how happy they are, and I'm pleased to see that. I want to keep repairing shoes as long as possible because I know how it benefits soldiers.
Specialist Pedro Amador, Camp Casey, Korea.
Mr. Lee spends his spare time climbing mountains all over Korea. Friendship, health, and a mountain all share a common thing. Catus Private Min-Young Choi attends an event that combines all of those things into one.
ROTC veterans from the U.S. and ROK Army met this weekend for a hike up the steep trails of Rock Mountain in the Gwacheon area of Seoul. They get together for these adventures once a month, and each hike provides more than just good health.
I think that by continuing these meetings, we aim to improve our relationship and also have some identity exchange between the two ROTC groups. Hikes like this can lead to other opportunities such as seminars and events, thus improving and making our relationship even closer, like brothers.
Although it was tough at times,
I agree.
Almost everyone seemed to enjoy the challenge.
And it's been a great opportunity. We learn a lot from each other. We do a lot of fellowship with each other and actually have a good time. And it's, like I said, it's a really good time to come out here and see parts of Korea and get some good visibility on Seoul from a higher perch.
So, until the next time this group laces up their hiking shoes, I am PFC Min-Young Choi, Seoul, Korea.
This small group gets together once a month. The Korean War isn't as forgotten as most people think. Petty Officer Chris Church gets a first-hand look at people experiencing déjà vu.
September 15, 1950, U.S. forces led a daring amphibious assault at the beaches of Incheon during the Korean War. The Marines didn't know where they were going or what to expect. The only information they were given before the landing was to build ladders.
We had no idea why we were building the ladders until we got to the breakwater and all at once the LCBPs went up against the breakwater, and the ladders was the only way you could get out of the boats up onto the seawall.
63 years later, the Republic of Korea and the U.S. continue to celebrate the heroic actions of the brave Marines who fought and sacrificed during the Incheon landing. The highlights of the evening began when sailors and Marines stationed aboard USS Ashland and their Republic of Korea counterparts recreated the Incheon landing in front of a group of Korean War veterans.
I feel honored to be a part of it, to be able to take part in the history that they fought for, what my ancestors fought for in the Korean War, what prior Marines fought for. It means a lot to me.
The event showed the appreciation both service members and veterans have for each other.
You know, the service members today are heads and shoulders about what we were in both World War II, Korea and Vietnam. They're well trained, they're intelligent, they know what they're doing. I have nothing but respect for the military services today.
They say it's a forgotten war, but to me, there's nothing forgotten about it. Everything they did, it meant something. It means something to me and every Marine I work with on a daily basis.
From Incheon, Korea, I'm Petty Officer Chris Church.
The Incheon landing was the first instrumental step in UN forces reclaiming Seoul on September 26th. Waking up in the hospital with no knowledge of how you got there would scare most people. Army Sergeant Ton Pham visits the people involved to learn what happened.
Mr. Yi and Mr. Kwok did more than...
Over 100 soldiers and guests honored two heroes at Camp Stanley for saving the life of Private First Class Garland, who suddenly passed out while working at the 46 Transportation Company's maintenance shop. Because of the actions of Mr. Myung-jin Kwok and Mr. Yi Won-chik, Private Garland is able to see one of the happiest days of her life. Now back to full health and recently married, she remembers how her and her husband felt after that day.
We discussed it. We had talked about it. He wanted me to go to the hospital and stuff and, you know, get checked and rechecked, and I'm like, I'm fine.
Garland didn't know which of her co-workers helped her until the awards ceremony.
They did something to help someone out. They didn't want to be like, oh, I did this for you, did that. They're just being humble people.
Mr. Kwok never thought combat lifesaver skills would be useful until that day.
People kept saying that I did a great job, but I'm just glad I helped to save her.
That day, Mr. Yi ran to the office telling them to call 911, then assisted in CPR.
We are almost like family, so you can imagine how pleasant it is to save a family member.
Even after everything that's taken place, Private Garland says it's still business as usual in the workplace.
I think it's just, like I said, probably a stronger bond, but other than how we all interact with each other, it's no different.
Army Sergeant Ton Pham, Camp Stanley, Korea.
Mr. Yi and Mr. Kwok received the Army Superior Civilian Service Award for their heroic actions. Service members know that the unexpected can happen at any time. Private First Class Matt Fleischman observes a unique environmental disaster scenario.
When working aboard almost any seaborne vessel, an oil spill might not be an uncommon occurrence. The civilian mariners, or CivMars, who live and work aboard the United States Navy ship Wheeler docked at Pier 8 in Busan, often train for such an incident. The CivMars aboard the ships work with a local Korean environmental organization during the training to assure that if there was a real oil spill, they could all respond swiftly.
The U.S. Navy has a lot of cargo transported here in Busan. I believe there is a potential threat, so this is why we conduct the exercise to make sure we can react quickly in case of an oil spill.
While the civilian mariners train cleaning up the oil aboard their ships, the Korean Marine Environment Management Corporation trains to clean the water and assure that the oil does not adversely affect the local environment.
We're here helping them defend their country. They're our host. We're working with them to have a good relationship, to protect their country, their people, their environment, their way of life, and working together as a team. So by doing training like this is the best way to accomplish that.
Army Private First Class Matt Fleischman, Busan, Korea.
Training for this situation regularly helps keep the mariners at peak readiness. That was your Around the Peninsula for Thursday, September 26th. From all of us at AFN, enjoy your evening.